Perception. Perception is led by motivation. What you're motivated by, you often perceive. The human being often does perceive things different, based on their wants and their needs and their expectations. You see, every one of the five senses can be twisted to deliver a completely different picture of the world. Sight, sound, smell, taste, texture of things, logic, etc., all of this can be twisted as that what reality really is a picture in the brain based on a lot of hopes, dreams, expectations.
This isn't real.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. Is it really so hard to believe?
We all twist our perception because 70% of all perception is psychological.
70% of what we perceive as taste is psychological.
As long as...
No one's gonna believe that.
Honey, people believe what they are told.
Most people do, at least.
Mr. President, the American people will buy whatever we tell them to. You know that, Mr. President. The American people will buy whatever we tell them to. You know that, Mr. President. The American people will buy whatever we tell them to. You know that.
60% of all human communication is nonverbal, body language. 30% is your tone. So that means that 90% of what you're saying ain't coming out of your mouth.
Yes, most people do not have the intelligence to listen to the words. They only really develop their own expectations. In fact, you can even sell them the taste of urine.
Actually, people can believe they like the taste of urine.
Really?
We tested it once.
Sports drink? The success of this product depends on people being shallow, superficial, self-obsessed, greedy, and desperate for attention.
Mr. President.
Yes, most people are shallow, greedy, desperate for attention, emotionally insecure. And they can be told, and they'll believe pretty much anything if they're told correctly. The media uses this, government uses this, and many other people, as they influence the minds.
You know that.
Yes, most people are blind to reality. They see what they want to see, especially voters and especially undecided voters.
If re-elected, would you increase the frequency of garbage pickup?
Well, citizen, that's an excellent question, and I thank you for it.
Well, we have ourselves a political question. Now let's get an evasive political answer.
I think it's great we live in a town where you can ask questions. Because without questions, we just have answers. And an answer without a question is a statement.
Yes, most people don't really have the intelligence or confidence in their intelligence. So they kind of just go along to get along. And they kind of believe almost anything that they're told.
Oh, I like him. He looks me in the eye.
I'd like to have a beer with him. I'm voting for him.
I don't understand these people. He didn't even say anything and they're eating it up.
Lois, undecided voters are the biggest idiots on the planet. Try giving short, simple answers.
They don't really listen to the issues or to the intellectual concepts. What they do is they listen to the tone and the emotional energy, and they make their decision based on emotions and feelings.
Sir, your question, please?
Mrs. Griffin, what do you plan to do about crime in our city?
A lot. Because that's what Jesus wants. 9/11 was bad.
Yes, it is amazing how stupid people can be, and just really how they can be so easily led.
I agree with that. Mrs. Griffin, what are your plans for cleaning up our environment?
9/11.
Mrs. Griffin, what about our traffic problem?
9/11.
Yes, in America, anyone can become president. You see, that's the problem. You should have to at least pass a test of intelligence and mental stability and ethics. This really should be what happened. And we should have a test for voters for their mental stability and intelligence as well. Because if you can't spell USA, if you don't know the number for 911, if you think that killing a child is okay, Or if you think it's okay to elect a bigot, then you should not be allowed to vote. Slander, libel, gossip, advertising, all different ways used to manipulate the minds of the masses, the unintelligent people who believe pretty much anything. They don't have the intelligence to really ascertain what is happening or not happening in the world. They just believe. Perception is created and twisted so quickly. If we take a look at the face over here on the right, and the face on the left, we see that basically what we see and how we perceive things is based on what we see, and the perception can be changed. We can have a changed perception. You see, perception is a reality, but it's not really in the senses. It's affected by our emotions, our psychological state, and other things, because perception is really not hard. Here's a little experiment as we take a look at these two faces independently, and now look at the cross. Keep both eyes focused on the cross in the middle. As the faces will start to change, we will notice something different with our peripheral vision. The faces that we're going to be showing here are not altered in any way, but as you look at them, you're going to see some strange faces. You see, our peripheral vision, away from the focused vision, in just this small little distance here, less than an inch from one spot to the other, that peripheral vision is different than our focused vision. The focused vision sees things a little differently. And in this case, left and right hemispheres and what is pre and post will affect what we see and what we perceive. If you look at this thing again, go back and look at it independently, you'll see that the faces are not altered. However, the faces look altered, they look bizarre when you look at them in the middle. And this is often also a perspective projected by our psychology. What is inside us will allow us to see what is really inside us. And when we look into the mirror, we also do a little bit of Photoshop for ourselves, because what our psychological nature is comes out. A little kitty seeing a lion. Some people have that ability, some people don't. Now the media takes advantage of this by recognizing that most people see what they want to see, and that the media is going to be truthful, not neutral, because they're going to use their different ways to help foster sponsors, etc. And your perception is a reflection of you. A reaction to you is the awareness of me. The perception of me is a reflection of what's inside you. Because what you see is only a reflection of what's inside you psychologically, emotionally, spiritually. What you are is projected into what you see. Let's learn about critical thinking so that we can improve our lives and improve our world.